Today's topic is classification of food. So, food is classified into the various categories. So, in today's lecture, we will see about how much categories of the food in the classification. So, basically, food is classified into the 5 categories. First one by the origin, second by the chemical composition, third that is predominant function, the fourth one the food is classified based on the nutritive value, as well as the last classification that is basic 5 food groups. So by the origin, which means from where we are getting the food. In short, the source of food. Okay, from which source we are getting the food, that is all are in the by origin classification. Another one is by chemical compositions. That means each nutrients having the different kind of chemical compositions. So based on chemical compositions, food is classified into the 5 categories. Another one is predominant function. So based on the function of each nutrients, food is classified into the 3 categories under these predominant functions. First one, energy yielding foods, body building foods, and the last one is protective or regulatory foods. The fourth one is nutritive value. So based on the value of the nutritive, the food is classified into the 9 categories, and the last one is the basic 5 food groups. Okay, so in that they have given the word 5. Okay, so in that classification, food is classified into the 5 categories. So let us see one by one. So first is classification by the origin. So as I told you, origin, that means from which source we are getting the food. So based on the origin, food is classified as food of animal origin and food of vegetable origin. Whatever food we are getting from the animals, such as meat, chicken, poultry products, so that all food we are getting from the animals, that we are saying as a non-vegetarian food. Yes. The another classification, that is a food of vegetable origin. That means the vegetarian food. The food which we are getting from the grains, pulses, legumes, vegetables, fruits, etc. So whatever food we are eating, that is from the vegetarian source, that we are terming as a food of vegetable origin. Okay. So classification by the origin, food is classified into the 2 categories. First one, food from the animal source. Second one, food from the vegetable source. That means non-vegetarian food and the vegetarian food. The another type is classification by these chemical compositions. Okay, so by the means of a chemical compositions, food is classified into the 5 categories. That is what? First one is a carbohydrate, next one protein, fats, or we can say the lipids, vitamins, and the minerals. So why they have put these all nutrients in these 5 categories? Because each nutrient are having different kind of chemical compositions, which means each nutrients are made up of a different substances. Suppose we can take the example of a carbohydrate. So carbohydrate is made up of a carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Okay, when it's come to the protein, protein is made up of a carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, as well as phosphorus, carbohydrate group, and the sulfur. So the protein and the carbohydrate both having the different chemical compositions. Same, the fats are also made up of a different substances. So based on the different substances, different chemical compositions, we have classified food into these 5 categories: carbohydrate, protein, fats, vitamins, and the minerals. Now the third type is classification by predominant functions. Okay, so based on the functions, we have classified food into these 3 categories. So what is the first one? First is energy yielding foods, second one body building foods, and the third one is a protective food. So energy yielding food, which means the food from which we are getting maximum amount of the energy, that we are categorized into the energy yielding food. Next is body building food. Okay, so whatever food are helping to build our bodies, cells, tissue and muscles, that we are categorized into the body building food. And the last one is a protective food. So the food which is necessary for the protection of our body, that we are terming in a protective food. So first one is energy yielding food. Food rich in a carbohydrate and fats are energy yielding foods. Yielding, which means providing. Okay, energy yielding foods, that means energy providing foods. So the source of energy we are getting, that is from the carbohydrate food and the fat rich food. If you are having 1 gram of carbohydrate in your diet, you will get 4 kilocalorie of the energy. If you are eating 1 gram of carbohydrate, you will get 4 kilocalorie. And if you are eating 1 gram of fat, you will get 9 kilocalorie. So this carbohydrate and fats are giving energy to our body. And why our body require energy? Our body require energy for the day-to-day life functions. So here they have mentioned the sources of energy yielding foods or the sources of carbohydrate and fat rich food. So in the examples are like cereals, that means all the grains and pulses, you will get the carbohydrate. Roots and tubers like potato, sweet potato, you will get the carbohydrate because the potatoes and the sweet potatoes are containing the starch. Yes, and starch is one of the type of the carbohydrate. From the sugars, oils and the butter. So oil and butter is a source of fat. So these all are the examples of energy yielding food: cereals, roots and tubers, sugars, oil and butter. Next type under the predominant function is body building food. So what is a body building food? So protein rich foods are considered as body building food. Okay, so whatever you are having in your diet which contain the maximum amount of protein, so that is body building foods. So protein is considered as body building foods. The main function of protein is build and repair the tissue. Okay, so protein, whenever you are eating the protein rich food, what happens? The digestion and absorption of protein may take place in your small intestine and in your stomach. So protein is break down into the amino acids, and amino acids are the building blocks of your cells, of your tissue and of your muscles. So amino acids are building blocks of our body. So that's why we are saying that protein is body building food. Apart from that body building function, it is also having a function as a building and the repairment of the tissue. So whenever you are get injured, if you are fall down from the stairs, if you face any kind of accidents and you get the damaged, okay, so to heal that damage, to heal that particular wound, to repair the damaged cells and tissue, your body requires the protein. So protein is necessary for a repairment of damaged cells and tissue. Here they have mentioned the sources or the examples of a protein rich food. What all are they? Like meat, fish, poultry products, eggs, pulses and legumes. So if you are having this kind of food, you will get maximum amount of the protein. So protein is generally we are getting from the non-vegetarian food. From the vegetarian food, only small amount of protein we are able to take, but the maximum amount of protein you are getting from the non-vegetarian food, just like meat, fish and the poultry products and eggs. And here the pulses and legumes are the source of protein from the vegetarian food. So here are also the examples of a protein rich food, just like eggs, then chicken, lean beef, fish, soya beans, quinoa seeds, milk, cottage cheese, oyster and almonds. Okay, so you can categorize like what all are the vegetarian source of protein and what all are the non-vegetarian source of protein. So egg, chicken, lean beef, fish and oysters. These all are the non-vegetarian food sources of the protein, whereas the soya beans, quinoa seeds, milk, cottage cheese and the almonds are vegetarian source of the protein. Next is the protective foods. So this is a third type under the predominant functions. So protective foods, food rich in a protein, vitamins and the minerals are considered as a protective food. So vitamins and minerals are very essential for our body. Our body requires vitamins and the minerals to run the various kind of body processes. We require vitamins and minerals in a small quantity, but they are very important to run or to bodily functions of the body. The examples of the protective foods are green leafy vegetables, fruits, eggs and the milk. So you are getting vitamins and the minerals from green leafy vegetables and from all the fruits. The fourth classification is classification by nutritive value. So based on the value of nutritive, they are classified into the 9 categories. What all are they? Cereals and millets and pulses. So if you are having cereal and millets, you will get the maximum amount of carbohydrate. From the pulses, you will get the protein. Okay. If you are having the vegetables and fruits, you will get vitamins and minerals. Nuts and oilseeds and animal food. So from this you will get the maximum amount of fat, or we can say the lipids. Another is fats and oil, that is also you will get the fat and lipids. Next is sugar and a jaggery. So from sugar and jaggery you will get the glucose. Okay, glucose is also one type of carbohydrate. Whenever you are having any kind of carbohydrate rich food or you are having any kind of sugar or jaggery, so what happens? That is converted into the glucose and that will be stored in a form of a glycogen in your body. And the spices in which you are getting the minerals. So classification by the nutritive value, food is classified into the 9 categories. Like cereals and millets, you will get the maximum amount of carbohydrate. If you are having the pulses, you will get the maximum amount of protein. If you are having the vegetables and fruits, you will get vitamins and the minerals. If you are having nuts and oil seeds, animal food and the fats or oil, your body will get adequate amount of fats or as well as lipids. If you are having the sugar and jaggery, you will get the glucose and that is also type of the carbohydrate, and from the spices you will get the different kind of minerals. And this is the last type under the classification, that is 5 food groups. So as the name suggests 5, that means the food is classified into the small 5 categories. So what is a group 1? So in the group 1, all the cereals, roots and tubers are included. In short, we can say the carbohydrate rich food are involved in group 1. Next, group 2, that is what? Protein giving food. So here they have already mentioned the protein sources foods are involved in a group 2 classification. Next is group 3. So in that, fats and oils and sugar or jaggery. So it is a combination of fats and carbohydrate. So both of these fats and carbohydrate are involved in group 3 as a fats or oil or sugar and jaggery. In group 4, protective vegetables and fruits. So vegetables and fruits are giving maximum amount of vitamins and the minerals. So in group 4, they have mentioned or they have involved vitamin and minerals. And the last group is group 5, that is other vegetables. Clear everyone? 5 food groups, that means food are classified into the 5 small categories. Group 1 is for a carbohydrate rich food, in that they have involved cereals, roots and tubers. In group 2 they have involved the protein giving food. In group 3 they have involved fats and the carbohydrate, in that fats or oil and sugar and jaggery. In group 4 they have involved vitamins and the minerals, in that they have included protective vegetables and the fruits, and the last one group 5, that is for the other vegetables. So we have discussed classification of food. It is divided into the 5 types by their origin, by their chemical compositions, by their predominant functions, by their nutritive value, and last one is 5 food groups. Next is the elements of nutrition. So there are 2 types of element in the nutrition. First one macronutrition and last one is micronutrition. So what is a macronutrients? They are consumed in a large amount and form the major portion of the food. Okay, so in our meal, in our plate, the maximum amount of the portion of the food is from the macronutrients. The food we are having in a so much amount, in a major amounts, that are carbohydrate and the fats. Next is the micronutrients. So the word suggests micro, that means the small one. So micronutrients, they are required in a small amounts and are vital for optimal functioning of the body. So micronutrients involve vitamins and the minerals, and they are necessary for the various functions in the body as well as for the formation of a blood, bones and the teeth. Okay, so they are required for optimal functioning of the body and for the formation of the some of the substances in the body like blood, bones and teeth. Examples of the micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. Micronutrients are required in a small quantity, whereas the macronutrients are required in a major portion, that means in a large quantity. So you can clearly identify the difference between the macronutrients and the micronutrients. Macro, that means the food is required in a larger amount. Micro, that means required in a small quantity. Macronutrients involve carbohydrate and fats, whereas micronutrients are involved vitamins and the minerals. So this is the difference between the macronutrients and the micronutrients. We are eating major portion in our meal, that is the macronutrients, carbohydrate, fats. We are having less quantity of the micronutrients, that is vitamins and the minerals in our diet. Next topic is the functions of food. So functions of food is classified into the 3 categories, that is physiological function of food, next social functions of food, and the another one is a psychological function of food. So let us see one by one. What is the physiological functions of food, what is the social functions of food, and the what is psychological function of food. So first is the physiological function of food. So in this classification, they have categorized food functions into the 3 categories. What all are they? Energy yielding foods, body building foods, and protective and regulatory foods. Okay, so physiological functions of food are involved 3 categories or 3 functions, that is energy yielding foods, body building foods, and protective and regulatory food. So first one is the energy yielding food. Food rich in a carbohydrate and fats are called energy yielding foods. So as we have discussed, energy yielding food, that means energy providing foods. So from which food we are getting maximum amount of the energy, that is carbohydrate and fat. If you will eat 1 gram of carbohydrate, you will get 4 kilocalorie. If you are having 1 gram of fat, you will get 9 kilocalorie. So from the carbohydrate and from the fat, you will get the maximum amount of the energy. They provide energy to sustain the involuntary processes essential for a continuation of the life. Okay, so in our body, two types of activity are going on: involuntary activity and the volunteer activity. So volunteer activity, in that we have total command in our hand. Suppose whether I want to raise my hand or not, whether I want to shake my hands or not, that is on my control. Okay, but involuntary process in which we do not have any kind of control over the processes. So there are various kind of involuntary processes are going on in our body. Suppose we can take example, the cardiac pumping. Okay, you cannot stop your heart to pump. Okay, आप अपने हार्ट को बंद नहीं कर सकते हो कि आप हार्ट अब आप काम करना बंद कर दो, पंप करना बंद कर दो. That is involuntary. Okay, starting from birth till the death, the heart is continuously pumping. You cannot stop your heart to beat. Yes. Suppose kidney filtration. The filtration of the urine, filtration of the blood is taking place in your kidney. That is also involuntary process. Whatever thinking processes is going on in your brain, during the sleep you will getting the dreams. So that is also involuntary. You do not have to stop that dreams. Okay, so that all are the involuntary process. For running of that involuntary process, we require the energy, and that we are getting from this energy yielding foods. Here they have shown the examples of energy yielding foods like cereals, roots and tubers, dry fruits, oil, butter and ghee. These all are the good sources of the energy. So these all are the carbohydrate and the fat rich food like cereals, roots and tubers, dried fruits. So these three are the sources of carbohydrate. Oil, butter and ghee, which are the sources of fat. So in this kind of food you will get the maximum amount of the carbohydrate as well as the fats. Energy yielding food provides energy to sustain the involuntary processes which are essential for the continuation of the life. So as I told you, there are various kind of involuntary processes are going on in our body like cardiac pumping, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide into the lungs, filtration of the blood into the kidney, the brain activity, neuron functions. So these all are the involuntary functions in the body and which are essential for the continuation of the life. To carry out various professional, household and recreational activity, we require the energy. So from the carbohydrate, from the fat, we are having the energy to run out the various professional works, various household works and the recreational activities. Next function is body building food. So food rich in a protein are called body building food. Okay. If you are having maximum amount of protein, you will have the proper growth of your body, proper body building you will have. This food helps to maintain life and promote the growth. Okay. So as I told you, whenever you are having any kind of protein rich food, it will go into your stomach and the process of digestion will take place. After the absorption, the protein is break down into the various small units of amino acids, and that amino acids are essential for the building of your body. Okay, your body is made up of a different kind of cells, tissue and muscles. So to build that cells, tissue and muscles, our body require the protein, and if our body is well builded, that is promoting the growth of our body. The main function of protein is to build and repair the tissue. So whenever you are get injured, to repair the damaged cells and tissue, or your body will require the protein. So if any person is facing any kind of fracture or having any kind of injury, so doctors are suggesting to have the protein rich food. Okay, so if you are eating more amount of protein, you will able to heal your wound very soon. So here they have mentioned the sources of protein like milk and milk products, meat, eggs, fish, pulses and nuts. So these all are the sources of protein. Milk and milk products, you will get the maximum amount of protein. From the non-vegetarian source like meat, eggs and fish, you will get the protein, and from pulses and nuts also you will get the protein. Next is protective and regulatory foods. So food rich in a protein, minerals and the vitamins are known as a protective and a regulatory foods. Okay, so as we have discussed, vitamins and minerals are very essential for the normal functioning of our body. They are very vital for the bodily functions. So they are essential for a health and regulate the activities. So vitamins and minerals in our body are required for regulating various kind of activities like maintenance of body temperature. So magnesium, okay, magnesium is one kind of mineral which is required to maintain and regulate the body temperature. Next is for muscles contraction. So potassium, calcium and magnesium, these three are the minerals which are required to muscles contractions. So our body is fully made up of the muscles and tissues. So for the contraction of that particular muscles, for doing any kind of activity, we require the relaxation and contraction of the muscles. So for that activity, our body required magnesium, sodium and the calcium. Next, that is control of a water balance. So for controlling the fluid balance in the body, our body requires three minerals, that is calcium, sodium and the potassium. Another one is a clotting of blood. So for the blood clotting, vitamins are required. Especially vitamin K is required for proper blood clotting in our body. So whenever we are getting injured, immediately after some time what happens? Blood are coagulated, blood are clotted. So for that clotting of the blood, our body requires the vitamin, that is vitamin K. And last one is maintaining the heartbeat. So to maintain the good heartbeat or else to maintain the healthy heart, our body requires potassium and the magnesium. So these all are the different kind of activities for which our body requires vitamins and the minerals. Now the sources of vitamins and minerals. So we are getting it from the milk, from eggs and fruits, vegetables which are termed as to be a protective foods. So maximum amount of the vitamins and minerals we are getting from the fruits and vegetables. So we have discussed, we have completed the first function of food, that is physiological function of food. Under the physiological function of food, that is categorized into the three types, that is bodybuilding food, energy yielding food and protective and regulatory food. The another function of food is social function. So food has always been the central part of our community, social, cultural and religious life. So during any kind of community event, during any kind of social event or in religious life, the food has become the central part. The food is become the center of attraction in the social life of our country. It has been expression of the get together. Okay. So during any party, during any get together, what is the center of focus? The food. Yes. So food has been expressed as a function of get together. Food is served at many social events like teas, breakfast, lunch, dinner and meeting of all the sorts. So food is served in a various kind of social events in a form of a teas, in a form of lunch, dinner, breakfast and etc. On all these occasions, food indirectly serve as an instrument to develop the social support. So in any kind of meeting, in any kind of get together, in any party or any kind of social event, what happens, all the peoples are meeting together and they are having the food, they are communicating with each other, and that is helping to build and develop the social support system. The last function of food is psychological function. So what is the psychological function? Beside other function, food satisfies certain emotional needs also. So psychological, that means related to the brain, related to our emotions. So food is helping to satisfy the emotional needs. People often find it difficult to get adjusted to unfamiliar food. Okay, so what happens? We all having likes and dislikes related to the food. We like some kind of food, we didn't like other kind of food. So if there is unfamiliar food are presented to us, we are become unadjustable to that unfamiliar food. These also include a sense of security, love and acceptance. Okay, so they are providing three kind of senses: sense of a security, love and the sense of acceptance. Preparation of delicious food for the family member is a token of love and affection. Okay, so in any kind of event, the handmade foods are served as a token of love and the affection. So what are mother's duty? Yes, our mom, our mother are preparing food for ourselves. They are making tiffin, they are making the breakfast for family members, they are making lunch and dinner for the family members. So they are making just because they are showing love towards us. Okay, so that is the token of love we are receiving each and every day from our mother. So it is helping or it is serving as a token of love and the affection. So that is the psychological function of food. And here are some other general functions of food. They involve: food supplies heat and energy for work and play. So it is providing heat and energy to our body to run the day-to-day life activity. Food supplies material for growth and repair of the body. Okay, so several kind of foods are there which is helping to build our body mass. Okay, so that is helping for proper growth and development of our body, as well as it is helping to repair and maintenance of a damaged cells and tissue. Food supplies material for a regulation or a control of the body process. So as we have discussed, our body is having various kind of processes. Metabolic processes are there, digestion processes are there, cardiac pumping is there, respiration process is there, kidney filtration process. So for running out each and every kind of processes, food is providing energy. And last one, food supplies material for protection of the body. Okay, so there are various protective and regulatory food. So food is helping us to fight against the various kind of infections. If you are having the adequate or sufficient amount of food, okay, if in your body there is an adequate amount of nutrient will be there, so your body will fight against various kind of infections. Okay, so the antigen antibody reaction may take place and your body will protect you from the foreign body or from the antigen. So these are the other functions of the food. So in next video we will see about the National Nutritional Policy.